It's absolutely wonderful to see everyone here today. Thank you for the opportunity to share a few words on behalf of our extraordinary committee. Before I do, I'd like to recognise the strong and resilient veteran community that we have in this country and encourage them to continue to support those among our ranks that aren't doing so well. Alex, I'd like to acknowledge you, mate, for this magnificent sculpture, the first of its kind at the Australian War Memorial. Thanks. We would also like to acknowledge a very special group of people. We've done it a couple of times this morning. They've shared the journey with us every step of the way. Without their dedication, compassion and support, we would not be here today. Could you please join me in thanking the wonderful team of the Australian War Memorial? We will remember them. That's what we say. We will remember them. Yet many feel forgotten. Here, at the heart of the Australian War Memorial, we remember those who have fallen. As Karen touched on, the Roll of Honour over there consists of a long series of bronze panels recording the names of over 103,000 members of the Australian Armed Forces who have died during or as a result of their service. Attention is rightly given to those who died during war. However, there are many that have survived and are left suffering physical and psychological wounds. And there are also many that have seen and unseen wounds as a result of their service. Many of them have not been acknowledged and many have felt forgotten. There are those who suffer physical wounds, those who have served and wear pins, not only on their chests, but in their knees, in their shoulders, in their backs, from jumping in and out of vehicles, ships, subs, aircraft, to lifting and lugging equipment, I see a few nods, to being shot at, blown up or smashed up in some bloody accident somewhere. Those with ringing ears, choking chests, missing limbs, acquired brain injuries, strokes, broken bones and blown up bodies, living with the knowledge that many of these scars will serve as constant reminders of discomfort, disfigurement and pain. We acknowledge you. This sculpture serves to remind us that you are not forgotten. There are those that suffer psychological wounds, those who have served and carry not only PACs, but anguish, trauma, incessant nightmares, panic attacks, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Labelled for unseen injuries, when left untreated, they can spread like cancer, consuming the mind, tearing apart relationships, and destroying lives. Now, many have found ways to reclaim their lives, but they will remain forever changed. Many have battled shame and guilt to seek help, only to be turned away and left feeling as though they've been tossed to the curb and abandoned, not only by those that they have served with, but by the country that they have fought for. And tragically, some, after carrying the sufferings of war and service way too long, way too far, having fought a bloody good fight, have died by suicide. As mentioned earlier, this is a national disaster and in many cases could have been prevented. We as a committee acknowledge the efforts of those to bring about the much needed change. At the same time, knowing that it's never going to bring back our children, our loved ones, or our mates. there is so much more that needs to be done. We acknowledge you. This sculpture serves to remind us that you are not forgotten. These dew-like marble droplets spread across these green waves remind us of the ripple effect that it has on our families, our loved ones, our friends, our kids, and the profound impact on our communities, our country, and future generations. Those who check on their friends and loved ones daily, making sure that they've just showered and eaten. Those who reach out to friends because they've reached wit's end and they don't know what to do anymore. Those that just need a space to cry and cry and cry so they can wipe back the tears and step back into the house and get dinner ready. To all of you who have tried and tried and tried and nothing seems to work and you feel empty and alone, having lost that loved one forever, we acknowledge you all, every single one of you. And this sculpture serves to remind us that you and them are not forgotten. And when you move over here a bit later on, for some of you this sculpture will represent a place to grieve and a timeless reminder of the long-term cost of war and service. For some, the stunning white and red veins of iron ore, that's right, yep, reflect their journey of blood, sweat and tears. Perhaps a place of peace, solitude and reflection. For some, touching these beautiful droplets, which we encourage, of discarded marble, reveals an inner strength, a resilience, and the gleaming light off the surface that you can start to see now, surrounded by these trees and singing birds, brings with it a promise of hope and healing. So let me conclude by saying this. We acknowledge that everyone's life experience is different and that everyone moves through the suffering of war and service in their own way, at their own pace. We have learnt that the blood, sweat and tears shed by those who have served and their loved ones is best done with the support, recognition and the embrace of the community. And whereas in the past there was no place for acknowledgement, no place for our community, for us to come together at the War Memorial to recognise the sufferings of war and service, we are grateful that we now have this new sculpture, aptly titled "For Every Drop Shed in Anguish," to bring our community together. A place and sculpture that serves to remind us that we, our families, our loved ones, our friends, our mates are not forgotten. Thank you.